right, Grant, appreciate that. We are counting down the days to the Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro. Today marks 100 days to the Summer Games. And this morning we're getting a sneak peek into the celebrations and the preparations taking place in Rio right now. And this morning joining us live, Bob Costas of NBC Sports, live from Rio where we're preparing for these games. Bob, good morning. Thanks for being with us. How are things looking down there?
Well, Andrew, first of all, they look great here on Copacabana Beach, where this summer's Olympics gets underway, as you said, in exactly 100 days. Coming up a bit later on the Today Show, we'll discuss some of the issues in Brazil leading up to these Olympics. Among them, as you know, the recent political turmoil could lead to the president's impeachment, the ongoing concerns about the Zika virus and water quality. And, of course, we'll also highlight some of the athletes expected to represent the U.S. this summer. Returning stars like Michael Phelps and Kerry Walsh-Jennings are expected to lead the way for Team USA, while the world's fastest man, Jamaica's Usain Bolt, will certainly be among the most notable international athletes. There are lots of problems here. No one is denying it. They've got 100 days to pull it all together. But if they do, this is one of the most beautiful and high-spirited sights you could ever hope for an Olympic Games. And you've been down there for a couple of days now, Bob. I'm curious to know, because we've heard a lot of reports about the Zika virus. I think that's certainly top of mind for a lot of people, including the athletes heading down there. What is the general sentiment there, and what are the conditions like with regard specifically to the Zika virus? Well, what you hear most frequently is this. August is actually winter in Brazil, and the mosquito population, the heat and humidity, less. The threat should be less. Does that mean the threat is non-existent? No. If you want to come, either as an athlete or as a spectator, you need to be informed. And what the U.S. ambassador told me yesterday is that people should go to travel.state.gov to learn about common sense preparations if, in fact, they plan to come to Brazil for the Olympics. And more than 100,000 U.S. tourists are expected to be here come August. Before we let you go this morning, I would like to ask you, there's been a considerable buzz in the past year or so about a possible bid for Salt Lake City to jump into the Winter Olympics once again. We've seen the LA 2024 buzz, and if that bid should fail, do you see that scenario playing out to where Salt Lake could potentially bid for another Olympic Games? Oh, it's possible. You know, as you said, Andrew, if Los Angeles gets 2024, they're not going to put them back-to-back in the United States. But the 2002 Salt Lake Games were tremendously successful. They had a lot of hurdles to clear. Mitt Romney helped them do it. They pulled it together. They were very, very successful. So the IOC is mindful of that. But all of the Winter Olympics, as you know, are spoken for through 2022. So we'll have to see what happens in 2024. The earliest possibility for Salt Lake would be 2026. And if Los Angeles is successful, then that pushes Salt Lake a little bit further back in the queue. Certainly see there are a lot of buzz certainly surrounding that, as well as the games in Rio de Janeiro coming up 100 days from today. That is Bob Costas joining us live this morning from Rio, talking about it all. More coming up on the Today Show, including that interview with Matt Lauer and Michael Phelps. Over to you, Laura.